Okay. So I'm standing in favor of the adoption of I'm standing in favor of the fact that Congress should repeal the combat exclusion principle as established in 1948. Okay. The negative stated something very interesting, which is that there are very few countries that actually have women in their military. However, according to Drew Patterson, an article called "Women in Combat is a Database," written in 2010, he said of the more than 20 nations that have expanded their roles for women to positions where they might see combat, none of them have repealed their orders. And this shows a shifting of ideals, which my opponents failed to recognize. In addition to this, they stated several claims about how pregnancy could be an issue. However, pregnancy has a little overall effect on unit readiness. According to Stephen Lee Myers, in an article called "Living and Fighting Alongside Men and Fitting in the New York Times," written in 2009, he said that commanders of the Army and Marine Corps say that woman leaving as a result of pregnancy appears to be relatively rare and has little effect on overall unit readiness. In addition, that same RAND Corporation study by Laura Miller and Margaret Hill said that most units studied did not report that gender integration had a significant effect upon the number of personnel available to the unit. When units were fully staffed in proportion to women was respected, pregnancy seemed to be of little concern to commanders and full workers. Now, there have been several claims about the result of sexual harassment and its effects on integration. However, if one claim can really be said, is that there's considerable confusion about what constitutes sexual harassment. In the RAND Corporation by Laura Mill and Margaret Hill, they found that this is actually true. While there may be several reports of sexual harassment, just simply touching someone could be seen as sexual harassment in some cases. And clearly we can't go and report all of these. And really there's no reason to. Okay. Going back to one of our original arguments is that there's no logical reason why women should be barred from combat. And according to Ian McFedrin from the Frontline, in an article called "Frontline, Women Equal But Different" from the Daily Telegraph, written in 2010, he said that Junior Defense Minister Greg Combat says he wants females to have access to all military jobs, except for the physical demands cannot be met according to criteria that are based on scientific analysis rather than assumptions about gender. Now, this old policy, the combat exclusion policy currently in place, fails to address the women who are qualified and violates our tradition of equality. And really, that's the key issue here. Even though they say it will be costly, the negative says it will be costly, even though we might have only one or two women that can, even if it is sincerely only one woman that can meet that combat role, war costs trillions of dollars. And really, the way that the cost of really training one woman, it would be negligible compared to the trillions of dollars spent on tanks and military weapons systems. So really, that's not a very good claim. I'd also like to point out one more aspect that my opponents failed to address, which is that the current policy doesn't really reflect the status of current warfare. They mentioned that hand-to-hand combat, that training for hand-to-hand combat and wrestling and stuff such as pinning down your opponent, that women wouldn't be as physically capable. However, when's the last time you've heard about a fencing match, that's occurred in Baghdad? It's not true. Most combats fought with weapons and automatic weapons and weapons that make it very easy to kill someone. To back this up, Anna Berlin, writing for Christian Science Monitor, reports that the policies that bar women from combat are based on the standards of conventional warfare with well-defined linear battlefields. However, the current conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan have been anything but conventional. And so that's clearly why we need women in combat. And I